Alright guys, so I just finished up working on the truck. I'm going to show you guys everything that's in depth about this. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if there's any questions you have. I'm going to go through in detail any issues that I had installing these springs and shocks. And I'm also going to list down below the size of the sockets that I used, the tools that I used that are required, and I'm also going to try and find a torque spec sheet and list all those down below as well. So hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you have any questions at the end. Alright, so first things first, obviously you want to pull the wheel off. I use a paint can opener to pry these bad boys off. Then you want to break the lugs loose. There's 8 lugs here. Looks like 22 is the winning number on that. Don't forget your wheel chocks. Alright guys, so another important thing here when you're removing wheel lugs or wheel bolts, you don't want to loosen them all the whole way while the car is on the ground. It's really bad on your wheel bearings to put all that weight on them. So what I like to do is just crack them loose just enough so that when I hit them with the impact they come off no problem. Alright guys, so I got the wheel off. Make sure also that when you break the lugs loose you're doing a star pattern. That takes all the pressure off evenly. Anyway, so with the wheel off, let's get into the first of the many things that need to be done here. Alright guys, now we got enough light here. First thing that I did on the other side was remove these strut bolts. There's a lower and an upper, of course. They're both eye mounts. So it looks like the nut head, the cap screw head, is a 22 millimeter, and the nut to that is an 18 millimeter. However, the upper is backwards. The bolt head is 18 millimeter, and it looks like the nut is 19. Guys, just keep spraying these bad boys down. The U-bolts are really bad. Next, we'll see if the U-bolts come out. And after that, we'll pull the suspension eyelets and the shackle out and see if we can get the new ones in. I use my impact for these after I broke them loose with the breaker bar. So the U-bolt nuts are 21 millimeter. There's 4 of them. They're on there pretty good. Alright, you see the struggle I'm having here. I've got like a 4-foot breaker bar. They're moving, but they're on there pretty good, so I'm gonna break them loose enough that I can hit them with the impact and pull the U-bolt plates and the U-bolts out, and we'll be halfway done. You know, it's pretty simple setup, honestly. I don't think you'll get too confused. You can always reference the other side if you have an issue. I am confirming that's a 24 millimeter. Broken loose. Get your adjustable wrench here. Put that on the bolt head. Looks like the last thing left to do here is I'm not even going to try to pull that other bolt out just because I know it's seized. Best thing to do is just go straight at it with the grinder and have them out. Pulling the old grinder out. Make sure you got yourself a new wheel, because you're gonna need the biggest wheel you've got to get in there nice and deep like.
Nice and deep like.
And should be able to pop them right out after that. I get a phone call. Declined. Wow, I spun the head of the bolt and didn't do it on the other side like I was hoping it would, but it did it over here. Spinning it since it was cut the whole way through, or most of the way through. Spinning the head just broke the bolt in half. So next, you're just gonna take your pry bar, pry down on the spring, and hope that it comes off. So it looks like you're gonna have to lower the axle even more. That'll give you enough room to get the springs out. But as you can see, so this brake line doesn't have as much slack as we would like to for this. So we got to lower the axle down far enough to get these springs out, but you don't want to go so far that it pulls on your brake line, because you don't want that to go. As you can see, that side's completely free. This side, if I pull on it, it might come out, but there's a pin. There's a pin on the bottom of the spring pack that goes into the axle frame. Control arm, I guess it would be. Pitman arm. That's what she's called, Pitman arm. As you can see here, side-by-side comparison of the new spring and shock versus the old ones. There's honestly no noticeable difference as far as I can tell when they're out. The springs, apparently sometimes it's really hard to visually tell when they're out if they're worn. I measured the distance from the bump stop to the spring pack, and it was about a ½ inch maybe difference, so I'm not too sure what the factory spec is on these trucks. But I know an inch of travel is not enough. On the bright side, they look nice and pretty. The Bilstein 4600 series shocks are apparently the way to go as far as the stock suspension setup goes. So I'm super excited to see how they ride. Everybody recommends you absolutely must do a full front end alignment whenever you do any suspension work on these trucks. With the TTB, pretty much everything goes out of whack and wears out super quick unless it's all aligned perfectly. So install is exactly the same as removal, so I'm not too sure that you guys need to see much here. There are a few tricks that I will show you here in a minute that I ran into when installing these specific springs from SD Truck Springs. Alright, so to get these new springs aligned with the pin, it's kind of tricky because you've got to jack the axle up from the outside so that it pushes it inwards. That way the hole for the pin of the shock or the springs will sit in properly. Alright, now that we got that done, next order of business is the top spring plate that holds the strut into place. This hole right here in the middle, that hole is actually just a tad small for the hardware that they put on the top of the spring pack to hold the springs together. So I took a Unibit and it surprisingly drilled straight through. This is a 7/8 Unibit. I went to the second to last step, which is 13/16. I did 1/2 of the spring plate at a time. There we go, nice and crisp. So I'll put the new springs in with the new spring plates, U-bolts, you know, just put it back in, and after that I'll show you the last trick to this install. And we're gonna jump to the other side here. Here is where I had the issue on the other side. They supply standard hardware, so this is a 9/16 bolt. I'm assuming that the old size was a metric, probably 14mm or something like that. Whenever you want to go put the new bolt in, you got to hit it with a hammer. Be careful not to hit it too bad, otherwise you will risk damaging the threads. I'm putting mine in from the inside with the threads facing the outside of the car or the truck. That way if I ever go to remove them in the future, hitting them with a hammer from the outside is a lot easier than hitting them with a hammer from the inside. Can't find the new hardware. There it is. So I guess the best option there, if you're having a little bit of a hard time, it'll thread on just like I did. I just hit it with the impact and it ran it straight on. So that's pretty much it as far as the install. Don't forget to hit that like button if you like this video. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions, go ahead and comment below. Share the page, subscribe, go to Instagram, go ahead and like that page as well, follow me. That'll put yourself in for the chance to win a free t-shirt. Hey.